And we will further look into what inside of this delta. This delta ring is well, I have no hardware to look into and to energize the delta ring yet, but it looks very promising. This is the mathematical symbol of a delta. It's a triangle with a noticeable emphasis on one of its sides. Delta, fair enough. We put two delta together to form a star. Notice this parallel side also, they remain parallel at the same time, also remain a perfect mirror image of each other at the whole times. So as usual, anyone who would deliberately put two delta together to form a star is obvious, because they are most likely to after the energy. That we will look inside what actually going on within the hexagons. What actually going on is quite mysterious. This is what actually, with the best of our knowledge, to try to look inside into the hexagons for any dynamic movements, that we will apply a dynamic approach, which we try to tap into the energy flux fields. And what comes out of this is quite surprising. If I have not made, well, actually it is a perfect plotting here, because this is the dead center of the circle. It holds equal distance and respectable ratio on each of its corner and side, and we have our first resonance point around here, second, and the third. You notice the delta here is actually, this is the first delta. I have not made another delta there. Another delta will be here. Now, if I have not made any mistake, this is what the Freemason referring to as, well, perhaps, well, this is the bell-shaped things. Probably what they meant, what they are referring is a bell. A bell is probably this bell. Well, also it can be more than a bell if you use your imagination hard enough. So it's up to anyone guess what it is. But we will look into another plotting if the wind allowed us. Oops. Well, our world, even though our mathematical model are in constant, our world is not in a constant as we wished. We wish it is a constant of straight line, but most of our daily difficulties are not a constant in a straight line, which is irrational and unpredictable. Another plotting is I try to, well, that this plot is not quite accurate, but it gives us a very interesting look inside what this model is telling us. The black line is the ratio of circumference and its diameter within these hexagons, which is 3, 6, 9, and it multiplies up to 18, you see a red line, and barely you see an orange line. This is an orange line. The orange line alternated each one, and you see a red line here. Barely you see a red line. The red line also alternating with everyone's in between. It also forms a straight line. The orange line actually is the odd number. The red dot and line actually is the even numbers, which you can see the delta take a odd side every single time in this hexagon to form the first delta. The every even side which they use to form another delta within these hexagons, which gives us this very nice and a straight line. Well, don't you just love a straight line in constant stance? You can predict the next moves very easily. See, it gives you 1A, you can predict B very comfortably. This is every scientist's dreams. It's a perfect model of the world which is predictable. So, one last thing, you might think a DC motor is worthless and is underdeveloped. You might think again, there is, just like what Dr. Lindemann said, there is a hidden secret within a motor, not any type of motor, within a DC motor particularly. Is indeed some very interesting occurrence of certain mystery within the humble DC motors, that the DC motor happens to have three, well, I think they call phases, 3 phases. You can look at it if we zoom closer. Actually 3. You see there is 3 resonant points here, and DC motor use 2 magnets, north-south magnets, which you can see very noticeably that if the left and the right string of our DNA is actually like the 2 pieces of magnets, and when you energize a DC motor, it spins. So we try to use this model we have at hand to fill some of the problems that is like a huge obstacle in our daily livings, and we hope to get some positive result out of it. And it's not easy. There's no promise anything would be easy. So I will see you next time if I have any good news. See you for now.